ends the public comment period for who was signed up. Where do we go from here? Gordon, you want to put up with some discussion here?
Well, I tell you what, I recognize so many names from all these emails, that we got. And things you said, I probably could say them along with you, because I've read those emails over and over again, because I don't know, I'm not against solar, not against any of that, I think that's all good stuff. I think our job here is to find balance, because not everybody's gonna like everything we do. I agree. I have land too. I wanna be able to do with my land what I want, but I don't want my neighbors to be upset with me, And that would be something in the forethought that I would have. So, I don't know if we have had enough time to talk about this. This is only my second meeting.
Right.
My second look at this. And, I have lots of questions. And if I would be open to having more time to look at this.
There's a lot of, there were a lot of things brought up tonight that I would need to go into a little deeper, really. Understand there was, like the taxes and the possible liability. One thing that, how the taxes would be applied, because with inflation the way it's going now, if it's, I don't know how these contracts are written and so on, and if they would stay with inflation, because you can say we'll put in $200 million into schools now, 10 years down the road, that might be enough. I remember when a combine used to be $30,000 instead of $1 million. $1 million for a combine. So 20 or 40 years down the road, if we're not with inflation, then it's nickels and dimes. So I think that's real important, that how that's structured, and whether that has anything to do with the zoning, or whether that's just all in the county can adjust that, but the county does need to have the right to do that. Is that regulated by state or by county property taxes? Or those established, and what would this be? And this is an industrial process. It isn't a farm. It's not raising a crop. It's an industrial.
It's a commercial development.
It's a commercial development out there, and so if it's on its own, and it's still zoned agriculture, is that how do the taxes and all that, and this is going to take some time to understand that. And then it was brought up, the decommissioning, and that if something would happen and everything would fall in whole, the county wouldn't get stuck with a cleanup. If the cleanup got to be would cost more than what the property value was, and when you read about all these. It's just amazing what's come out in some of the farm magazines lately about forever chemicals, things that we never thought of as being hazardous. And there may not be any forever chemicals in these, but there could be things that pop up that we don't know 30 or 40 years down the road. Right now, it's really good. I'd put one of these on my farm, I really like it, but I want to have everything right. And that it is just going to take more time. But a lot of things brought up tonight, a lot of really positive things. I think that I like what they're talking about, how many megawatt, the production per acre of energy compared to raising a crop. You think of all that goes into the crop, and that isn't really easy on the ground to be raising crop, especially on lower CSR ground. And if we can get that much energy out of that compared to what ethanol does, that's a big plus.
At what cost, though? That's what I want to know, is how much does that, you've got a lot of infrastructure you got to put in place to capture that versus corn. Corn's a fantastic crop.
Right.
It really is. It captures sunlight as well as anything. But I heard tonight that, talking about that may not be able to be utilized on the grid. I didn't realize that. you know, that this project may not be able to go forward because of that. So I didn't realize that there was issues with that. And that's something we've gotta learn and understand it. Maybe they can't build one in Tama County.
Well, that's kind of their problem, I mean.
Well, look,
It's all
seriously,
of ours, it's all of ours, it's all of our
yes,
project.
but no, I mean, we can't
Yeah.
dictate what the grid can and can't do. I went through that when I put in my solar, there was a size limitation on it as to what was feasible or not feasible. That's not something we can really zone. I mean, we should go look at setbacks, wireless.
But after looking at the picture of their house and seeing that acreage with the black around it, I'd be a little ticked off myself. So,
Yeah.
That's not something I would wanna have. And, if we can work with the company or TED Renewables to mitigate that in some way, there's gotta be a way around this, to make it work for everybody. We need to talk about it a lot more,
Yes.
and we maybe need to do some discussions on our own and then bring it back to the group.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah, we're
Get
not
some
gonna
notes, and
zone
I got,
anything tonight.
I got a page here, so we probably ought to do it.
No, I'm fine. You got anything?
I think I've heard about every angle of it,
Yeah.
I see both sides of it. Agree with Carol, we're not gonna make everybody happy, that's all there is to it, we've gotta find compromise. And I'm wondering about, a couple comments made was about moratorium. From my understanding, we're not gonna move forward, or TED Renewables is not gonna move forward until they see this ordinance finished. And I don't think that's something we're capable of doing tonight.
I don't think we're even close to that.
We need to learn a little more from them as to what their timelines are on moving forward and how they can do that and when they can do that. As for a moratorium, that'd be I don't think we need one. Do we?
I don't think so.
If they're gonna,
If it's gonna take them 2 to 3 years before they're ready to go for a permit. I don't know. Got a lot to learn.
yes. So where do we go from here, folks?
More meetings. Do our research.
Yes.
Maybe spend a little time, get some research together, and then maybe a work session for you guys to look at.
I think a work session, yeah.
Some stuff that you really wanna bring together and have a clearer understanding, that way. Again, just so everybody's aware, this board makes the recommendations, they're not the decision makers, and they are doing everything, I think, so far that I've seen since I've started working with this group, to, get as much information from you residents, from the companies, and in general, just to be fair with whatever's placed forward in front of the supervisors here whenever they get to that point. So I think you have a good thing going here. But I do think they feel, am I correct in this, Doug, that you would need some
Yes.
more time to get some more information together and to really maybe even cross out some words and check out some different things in that ordinance, and this is not what we like, or we wanted to read in this direction, maybe come together, set something up like that, and then we can represent that to the residents and the companies down the road.
We also had some questions last time and some terminology here that we didn't, and I don't think we haven't even.
No, and that's, yeah, and I think, again, since we're sending this forward to the supervisors, we can kind of cross those lines out and write in what we want to see. Obviously, I'm assuming the board will take that across to the lawyers and things too, and we'll look over it. I mean, I'm not a wordsmith or anything, so we'll have to look over those things too. But if you can build a framework of what we want, then we can move that forward before we send it up to the supervisors. And just because it's a little tense in here, somebody shaved, didn't they, on the board? A little incognito sitting up there, wait, I didn't even know it was you there for a minute. Anyway. So Doug, it's your meeting, if you would like to move forward.
That was good.
Well, we do need
and some of you might wanna get in the fields a little bit or handle something.
Any suggestions?
Well, the sooner the better, but it's gotta be raining.
Yes. We got lucky tonight.
Maybe
a couple days from now.
Right?
Right.
I was a little skeptical when I heard the date, but I can take his credit on picking the right ones.
We got lucky. I can see us getting into a meeting and just coming up with a whole bunch more stuff, and we aren't ready to get in one, and resolve stuff.
Yeah.
So we gotta get,
No, but we gotta start somewhere,
exactly, so to me, the
sooner the better.
And kind of reviewing some of the things we've heard tonight again.
oh, yes.
So you're just kinda thinking like a work session
Yeah.
with us
Yes.
Or so.
before we, yeah.
That way you guys can put your thoughts all together in
Yeah.
one, and then we can
I think that'd be
present
good.
that to the community.
Could take a couple, more than one work
Might-
session.
Yeah,
I think
yes.
you're gonna, I don't
Yeah.
think you're, yeah.
So let's see what the weather looks like next week. We'll say Wednesday, I'll send everybody an email with some dates. How does that work? Next week, Wednesday, I'll send an email with some dates, and
Alright.
we'll look at the weather and see what we can come up with.
Sounds good.
How's your schedule?
I get paid to show up, so I will be wherever I need to be.
Guess he's buying stuff, but none of us get paid to show up.
Actually, I'm probably missing supper. That's all right. Anything else? So Wednesday of next week? I'll
At your
send
house
out-
at supper time.
Yes. Anything to keep me away from my 3 teenage daughters.
You got that problem too? huh?
Yes.
Yeah, Craig's
Let's do that.
Just so I'm clear, that is
What's
Wednesday, you're gonna tell them when we'll meet.
I'm gonna send them some dates out next week to set up a meeting. As soon as we set up a work session meeting, it'll be posted so that everybody knows. Again, it'll be a time for them to have. But yes.
The board seems to go along with that.
Yeah.
Do we need any other discussion for tonight? David, we covered it?
Yes, sir.